Last week, during the Casually Grounded dev stream, we were shown a preview of some of the new content that could be coming to the game in the 1.1 update, a holiday treat. And if you want a breakdown of all that juicy content, well, then go watch my other video. Because this video is going to break down Grounded game director Adam Brenneke's answers to a number of frequently asked community questions regarding content that could be coming to Grounded in the next year. And based off of some of his answers, in conjunction with statements made by Mr. Brenneke before, Grounded could still have a lot more growing to do.
New content is coming because I don't think we'll ever really wrap up stuff. Who knows what the future, there's so many cool ideas. Grounded world can be infinitely expanded on. Have our 1.0 done, and now we're looking forward to the future. And I think, a lot of the cool stuff in 1.1 reflects that.
Whoa, I'm not just small, I'm tiny. This is freaking awesome!
What up? It's Tiny Pirate Gaming, and to start things off, we're going to examine Adam Brenneke's answers to community questions about content that I theorize could be coming to the game over the course of 2023. When asked about new purchasables coming to the Raw Science shop,
are there anything new, or any new things to purchase with Raw Science?
Yes.
Sounds like a solid yes to me. And that likely means more additions to pre-existing burgle chip recipes, or possibly even completely new hidden recipe notes or burgle chips being added in the future. Which is great, unless you have a bunch of old internet video tutorials that become outdated and inaccurate every time that they change something. But, Anyway, moving on, here's a question regarding stat trackers.
Here's kind of a fun one. Could we have a counter to know how many times you've been killed by certain creatures? Like, we've killed them on their card, but then they've killed us on their card as well.
So many times. Yeah, that's a cool idea.
And I think more stat tracking would be great, if not for anything more than bragging rights among your friends. I could see this sort of tracker being placed on the creature card UI or on the scorecard shown at the end of the game, #spoilers.
Is it possible to have status afflictions on the creatures under their hit points bar? Like if they're poisoned or stunned or...
That's a great question.
Like
I know that's something that we have on our list of quality of life things. So I think that's something that we'll definitely consider.
If they've already been thinking about it and have it on their list, then there's a high probability that we'll see this system implemented at some point in the future. We also learned that the team is working on a solution to the limited number of accessory badges and trinkets available in a single playthrough, but haven't found an answer just yet. But I have a feeling it could come in the form of a New Game Plus. You'll understand why I think that in a bit.
Another one that came up, are there chances to have multiples of badges for multiplayer games?
Oh, like a way to duplicate or create multiple badges. Yeah, that's a cool idea too. It's something that we will probably have a solution to that at some point.
It also appears that the team behind Grounded is working on endgame content to give the players more activities to do around the yard once the main questline has been completed.
Cade asked, will we ever implement a way to have insane versions of the bosses?
Yeah, they're not.
Have you not had enough yet, Cade?
Yeah, they're not hard enough. Yeah, we have talked about doing longer term, whether it be a New Game Plus, a way to kind of revisit the bosses, revisit the mixers. We have talked about that quite a bit. It's something that we would like to address at some point, and continue with end game content, I should say. Like how can we provide more challenges, more reasons to collect all the goodies, upgrade your stuff, all the highest tier reasons for wanting to continue playing after you finish the game. So that's something that it's definitely top of mind for us, and that's one of the things that we're looking at on the team, and we will share our plans for what that is sometime next year.
I think a New Game Plus feature would be great because it would allow players to repeat certain boss fights and mixer challenges while also giving them a chance to stock up on multiple trinket accessories and more. We also might be getting additional unarmed attack abilities or new gear based off of this.
Unarmed weapons coming in the future.
Are you on the team?
Andy, is that your secret account?
Yeah. That's something that we talk about a lot on the team, unarmed weapons.
I guess, yeah, I've seen this one. Will we get more updates after 1.1?
Yes.
Boom, you heard it.
Bam, there you have it, plain as day, more updates are coming. And assuming they're anything like the upcoming 1.1 update, we're likely going to see all sorts of fun ideas make their way into the game. Something that the community's wanted for a very long time now are rideable creatures. And although we didn't get a definitive answer, Adam was more receptive to this idea than he ever has been before.
We answered this many times, but I guess we'll answer it again. Are they going to be able to ride insects anytime in the future?
Not immediately. I know that's a often requested feature. It's something that we have talked about on the team. I think that's kind of an interesting feature, and I would love to be able to do that at some point in Grounded. I think one of the challenges that we have with the progression of the game is that if we add in, I talked about like adding in a new glider. If we add in flying mounts or even mounts in general, we have to have content that supports it, and we have to evaluate existing content and see how it all fits together. That's one of the challenges without adding any new big feature to Grounded, is that we have to kind of take our time to see how it affects everything at this point, since we're post 1.0. So it's something that we definitely know that people want to do that, but we have to really make sure that it really fits with the rest of the game's progression, or whatever new content that we're building for Grounded, that it makes sense to do that.
Did you catch that? The key phrase being, not immediately. And that sort of answer makes me think that maybe they're already experimenting with this sort of thing. Rideable creatures. What does it all mean exactly? I don't know. Because from the perspective of a game developer, you can't just throw in gameplay mechanics without planning. The new game mechanics have to fulfill two primary requirements before they can actually be implemented to create a rewarding experience for the player. Any new mechanics have to first of all not break any of the pre-existing formulas. For example, if terrain elevations and platforming puzzles are part of the game's critical path, players can't have the ability to bypass these challenges until after they've proven their skills against these obstacles first. And the second requirement is that any new gameplay mechanics must serve a purpose. Whether it's a new way to reach a certain area or a new way to overcome a specific enemy or obstacle, the game mechanic has to be introduced with a new challenge to test the player's skill and make the gaming experience feel rewarding. Anyway, keep that all in mind as we go through these next few questions, which all deal directly with new game mechanics. Sparkle, roll the clips!
We talked about grappling hooks quite a bit. It is on the suggestion list.
It's the same kind of thing with I'd say like grappling hooks, gliders, mounted creature, like riding on creatures, riding on flying creatures. I think all that stuff fits in the same category of having content that supports that feature.
Any plans for assault staff?
Assault staff.
Yeah.
Not an assault staff.
Yeah, it sounds like an assault.
Yeah, that's hard to say.
I think that's something that we definitely will consider.
I'm just going to interject here and say that the salt staff should be an assault staff that rapid fires salt pellets and does low damage on impact. If we do get an salt staff, I'd promise to never ask for an acorn bit Tommy gun for at least a whole year. Instead, I'll just ask for an acorn bit shotgun. We also got answers about weather conditions and possibly the sprinklers being turned on, and it would appear that the Grounded game director himself really wants these features to be incorporated somehow, at some point, in some way. However, implementing these systems encounters the same issues as other new game mechanics, which means they'll require more large-scale planning, design, and time to get working. That doesn't mean they'll never be in the game, it just means that if and when they are introduced, they'll come with a whole bunch of other content that will make the experience even more fun and rewarding.
Can we turn on sprinklers for an event
I wish.
to spawn worms? Those are two very extremely difficult things to
Yeah, I wish.
ask for.
I think it was always my dream to have the sprinklers be able to turn on. I think that's something that I would love to explore at some point.
Is weather planned at any time in the future?
It's something that we continually talk about. Rain is one of those that I know a lot of players, even myself, I'm a huge, dreamer when it comes to this stuff. Like, I would love to have it rain. I would love to see different weather patterns in the yard. I think it's a cool multiplicative effect on the gameplay experience where you layer this weather system on top of the game, and it can affect properties of creatures, it can affect the simulation, it can affect, even if it's like wind, maybe it changes how dandelions work. So I think that's something that I would love to do and explore. I know that's a huge, huge feature to put in, so it will require quite a bit of time to get it right.
Now, if you're like me and you forget to re-equip your glider when using the new accessory system, this next clip hopefully means that someday soon we'll have a unique glider slot or something to address the recent upsurge in deaths due to dandy shame, which is forgetting to have your glider when you jump off of things.
Will we get an option to get just a standalone trinket slot? Because a lot of people want to switch to dandelion or something, but they have like a trinket currently active.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that a lot on the team. We're still evaluating it, but right now there's not, for 1.1, there's not any changes to that system.
There were also a few questions related to new build items like vertical half walls, more items for garden patches, and possibly even elevators.
Will we ever see vertical half walls?
Oh, I know that's a often requested.
hot one.
Yeah, it's an often requested feature. It's something that I'll have to talk to the team about to see how that fits in. We'll kind of figure that one out. But thanks for that suggestion.
Will we have the ability to grow our own muscle sprouts with the garden patch?
It's a cool idea. We have talked. I think that it was an idea that we had now like years ago when we first introduced the muscle sprouts. I think that's something that I kind of want to do. If we have the time for it. I'm not saying that we're going to do this, but I'd like to kind of like look at the garden to see if there's any other improvements we can do with the garden patch. But I'll keep that in mind once we're revisiting the garden patch.
Let's see. A lot of people are asking for elevators for tall buildings. Well, yep, definitely on our suggestion list. Been discussed in the past.
There was even discussion regarding the ongoing Great Land Rights controversy. For those of you who are like, what the crap biscuits is that? Well, allow me to explain. Way back in the early days of the Grounded game preview, long before version 1.0 could even be speculated about, there existed a yard that was completely free to be built upon or within. You could basically build anywhere on any surface and even underground. Some people even dared to build inside of the very labs themselves. I built lights underground. I think they're pretty. However, during the game preview, Obsidian Entertainment enacted a series of updates that eventually stripped the players of their rights to build upon these sacred chambers of the critical path. Mainly because they were planning to put bosses or puzzles in those areas. I even made a parody about it back when it first started happening.
I'm aware I have no chance of building here. No one needs to tell me anything like that. Why are you building on and on about in there? Begging for your build?
All that being said, here's what Mr. Brennicky had to say regarding the controversy.
We'll be getting land rights.
Not yet. That's something that it is on our suggestion board that we review. So that's something that I'm now well aware of what land rights are.
Why can't we build on plastic or metal?
That's a great question. I'm not entirely sure of the technical reason. I think we wanted to limit most building on natural stuff. I think that was just kind of a distinction we wanted to make, where you could build and where you couldn't build. But if there is a place where you think you should build or be able to build that's not like underground, I think that's a good suggestion.
So the short answer is no land rights for you, for now. And finally, some features that we're probably never going to see in Grounded, like pop-up damage numbers, portable surveyors, stackable eggs and meals, and another revamp to the gear upgrade system.
I know this is a hot one. Will we ever implement damage numbers, like numerical values when they're taking damage or dealing damage?
Yeah, I know that's a often requested thing. Right now, there's no plans on doing that for the future.
Any chance for a portable surveyor so they don't have to run to a field station to scan for things that they're looking in the backyard?
I don't think we would ever do that.
Will we ever see ant eggs become stackable?
I think the tech reason why ant eggs aren't stackable is they expire.
Hatch, right?
Yeah, they hatch. I believe that's the reason why they're not stackable. So every like all your meals have timers. All the meat in the game, there's a timer. You can't stack that stuff because there's like a timer on the egg.
Oh, one that keeps coming up a lot. Are there any plans to make the upgrade materials respawnable, or more bug recipes for those materials after you unlock them?
Right now, we don't have any plans to do that for 1.1. It's something that we're continuing to look at, though, so thanks for bringing that up.
And that's it. So what did you think of all these answers? Do you have suggestions for future Grounded content? Feel free to share them in the comments or go suggest them in Grounded's official Discord. You never know who's gonna read it. Your idea could end up in the game. Oh wait, this thing. I still don't know what that is, and nobody's telling us anything, but my best guess is that it's a trinket display. But hey, that's just a theory, a Tiny Pirate gaming theory. Don't forget to like and subscribe. You can also follow me on Twitch for live streams, Twitter for channel news, and join the Tiny Pirate Gaming Discord for discussions on Grounded, gaming, content creation, and more, along with me and the rest of the Hashtag Tiny crew. So whether I see you here in the comments, over on the Twitch sphere, or someplace else across the Streamiverse, just know that I appreciate all of your support, and thank you so much for watching. Until next time.
Arg, matey, watch your step. There be a tiny pirate here.